everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Introduction to Macroeconomics at Ozarka College. What I would like to do today is give you just a little bit of feedback on the Chapter 17 and 18 activities that I finished grading this morning. And then I need to tell you a little bit about the Chapters 19 and 20 activities, which are going to be coming up due here pretty soon. All right. So the first thing is, like I said, I did finish grading the Chapter 17 and 18 activities this morning. Go ahead and look at your grades for those activities as soon as you can. And let me know if you have any questions. Carefully read the grading comments that I left. If I had to count some points off, especially on the assignment, I tried to be very specific on why I was counting points off. So you should be able to get that explanation by reading the grading comments. But if you still have questions after reading the comments, just let me know, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. All right. Most of you did well on the Chapter 17 and 18 assignment, but I did notice that a few of you seemed to kind of just rush through the assignment, probably because you waited too late to get started and you just got done what you could. A really easy remedy for that problem is to get started earlier on your course activities, so that you have plenty of time to make sure that you get everything completed and answer all the questions. Some of you didn't answer some of the questions thoroughly or completely. Some of you omitted some of the questions completely. So like I said, I think a lot of that is just there are a few of you that are waiting too late to get started. Hopefully you'll get that corrected. If you're having problems of any kind that I can help you with in that regard, let me know and I'll be glad to help you. Okay. Like I said, overall, most of you did well. So keep up the good work on that. On the discussion, if you'll remember, the discussion that we have for Chapter 17 and 18 dealt with payday loans and the extremely high interest rates for those loans and some of the alternatives that people can use instead of payday loans. So I really appreciate everyone's participation on the discussion. So keep up the good work on that. Now, that brings us to what we've got coming up due next. So if you look on the activities page in Ozarka, we are currently on the end of week 12. We're on kind of the last half of week 12 of this semester. Of course, we just had work due last night, and we don't have anything due next week, but we do have work due early the next week during week 14. Don't wait until 2 weeks from now to get started on. Don't wait until week 14 to get started on chapters 19 and 20. Go ahead and use the rest of this week and next week to be working on those chapters 19 and 20 activities. Now, chapter 19 deals with international trade. So we're going to look at exports and imports, comparative advantage and specialization as it relates to international trade. Those are topics we've talked about before, but we haven't really talked about them specifically in relation to international trade. And so that's something that we'll look at in chapter 19. We'll also look at trade restrictions, which is a big item in the news today with all the tariffs that the U.S. has imposed on other countries. Trade restrictions. We'll also look at trade barriers. And then at the very end of chapter 19, we'll look at some of the arguments for trade restrictions. And then finally, also some problems, some kind of secondary effects of tariffs that can be caused in the economy. All right, so that's chapter 19. Then chapter 20 talks about international finance. So, in other words, how are all the transactions that happen internationally in the economy, how are those handled? So we'll look at balance of payments, trade balance, trade deficits and surpluses, which is a very important topic in the news, foreign exchange rates and markets. And then finally, at the end of chapter 20, we'll talk about the international monetary system. All right? So chapters 19 and 20, be working on those. Again, they're due Monday, November 17th. So you've got about a week and a half to be working on those, but don't let it sneak up on you. Even though it's not due next week, it's going to be due early the following week. So go ahead and use, like I said, the rest of this week and next week to prepare and work on chapters 19 and 20. So remember, you've got your textbook as a resource. You've got your PowerPoint slides that I posted on the assignment page in My Ozarka. You've also got the videos that I've linked that discuss all the topics that we'll be looking at in chapters 19 and 20. Those links to the videos are also on the assignment page. So, and I think most of you are already using those resources, but if you haven't been, I would highly recommend doing that. It'll make your the job of completing the activities for this course a lot easier if you make use of those resources. All right, and that's really all I have for you for today. So enjoy your weekend, enjoy next week, and I will talk to you again sometime after our next set of activities is due. All right, so I will see you then. Thank you.